What's up guys, True Vanguard here. Just wanted to bring you another video reviewing this exotic primary shotgun, the Universal Remote. So first and foremost, we'll just take a quick look at the skill tree here. Crowd control being the first one, where if you get a kill, it'll do an extra amount of damage for a short time after. It's only like 2 to 3 seconds. And then you've got like snapshot and stuff. I use Hammer Forged for the extra range because you're going to need it, frankly, if you're using this as a primary. And then the Universal Remote skill makes it so that when you're aiming down the sights, it extends the range on the shotgun. Now, I will say that the Grimoire, if you read the Grimoire card, it says word for word that this weapon packs a close quarters punch, yet has the range of a precision rifle. And let me just be the first to tell you that that is downright false. That is extremely misleading and in no way true. It does not have the range of a precision rifle by any stretch of the imagination. And I'll show you that later in the video in the PvE section. But this gun does have a high fun factor. It is kind of fun to run around with a primary shotgun and force yourself to go full douche in PvP. And so it was kind of enjoyable to play with it a bit. Now, this match here, I'm going to show you, I did manage to start off this game with a 15 kill streak using the Universal Remote and a couple of kills with the Super. But I did kind of, like I said, I did kind of have to go full douche in order to get it. I mean, sprinting, sliding, firing, punching, throwing, knifing, I mean, just going full douche mode with it. And that's kind of how you're effective with this gun in PvP. Now, it doesn't... I try to answer 3 questions in my reviews, and the first of which is this: how does the weapon stack up against other weapons in its class? Now, in this case, how does it stack up with other shotguns? And frankly, it doesn't really feel that much different. The extended range perk on it, I think, is kind of bogus. I think that it was a little bit noticeable before that first shotgun nerf, I think maybe like a month ago now. And I did use this gun back then, and it was kind of fun to use in PvP as well. But I think that you could tell a difference in the range as opposed to other shotguns then, but you really can't now. I mean, maybe you get an extra foot or two of effective range, but all in all, it's not worth sacrificing a primary weapon to get this one. So like I said, the fun factor on this weapon is high, but the practicality of it is just really low. It's not a very practical weapon. You would be much better off using a different primary. I mean, especially now with the Vex being buffed again, that one is certainly viable in PvP. Thorn is now viable in PvP. All of these things would be a much better choice for a primary. So you'll see I did definitely get under the skin of people, especially that guy right there. Or not him, the guy named Fever in this game. You'll see in a few seconds what he ends up doing once he finally takes me down. And it cuts off my kill streak right after I get the Reign of Terror 15 kill streak. So yeah, expect to get under people's skin if you're playing well with this gun. People just don't like it because A, it's a shotgun, and B, it's a primary shotgun. And so they're going to scream OP if you're using it well. But it is kind of a handicap in a sense. You're taking away your mid-range to long-range effectiveness. Even if you're doing shoddy snipes, you're really vulnerable at middle range. There's nothing really that you have to turn into your advantage at that point. So here's the Reign of Terror. Now that one, I don't know, I shot him square in the back and didn't get the kill, so I was kind of like confused about that. So here comes Fever. He shoulder charges me through the through the window, and he just starts shooting my body and punching it. So I was kind of cracking up at that point. Now you'll see there I did throw a trap grenade because what I end up doing is when I'm going into a firefight, I saw that guy on my radar to my left. What I want to do is I instantly throw a trap mine grenade over to one of my flanks so that I can focus on the engagement I'm headed into without worrying about someone flanking me. And you'll see me do that a couple times in this video. There's a whiff with the throwing knife. I'll be honest, the Hunter class is interesting to play. It's kind of fun to play at times, but it is my least favorite of all 3. But I did think that this weapon in particular matched up well with the Hunter more than any other class in the game, so that's who I play it with. And completely whiff on a shot there, which is kind of embarrassing. But anyways... So yeah, fun factor's high on this gun. It's fun just to run around and go full douche, sliding around corners and stuff. Now I did want to show it on my Hunter just because most of my other videos, most of them I use my Warlock to do the footage on, just because the Warlock is my favorite class to play. It's my main. I do have all my characters at level 30 now, but I like the Warlock the best, and I also enjoy playing the Titan for a more brawler-esque PvP experience. And you guys have seen, if you've seen my videos, you've seen footage of them. But I wanted to show you some Hunter too, because I had a couple of comments of guys asking for Hunter loadouts and stuff. So I'll bring some in the future, some Hunter loadouts. Now you'll notice, see like that, I threw that trip mine grenade and it did kill a guy over there. I didn't want to have to worry about that flank as I went into this engagement. So maybe you have this gun, maybe you don't. If you don't have this gun, you're not missing out on a whole lot. It's just another shotgun, frankly. One that's kind of a handicap when you equip it. If you do have this gun, feel free in the comments section just to let me know what you think of it, or to express maybe if you feel differently than I do about it. Maybe you've used it more than I have. I have used it decently extensively. I've maxed the weapon out entirely. And you see here just sliding through guys and shotgunning them at point blank range. And I didn't realize my mag was empty. Now, I will say this, the gun is effective as a flanking weapon. You saw me do that on the B point at Shores of Time maybe a minute ago in the video. And then you see now I kind of jumped around the side of those stairs just to get out of the line of sight for a second. And you'll see I did have a lot of positive games, 36 kills, 30 kills, coming in around 2.0 KD. And that's just because I was going full douche with a shotgun in PvP. So you certainly can be effective with it. Now, so I've answered two questions now. How does it stack up against other shotguns? And then showed you some footage there to let you know how it stacks up in Crucible. But the third question that people generally want to know the answer to is how does the weapon stack up in PvE? So that's what I'm doing here, just showing you some Tiger Strike footage. And this really is an ideal strike if you wanted to use this weapon. This is the ideal strike to do it on because there's a whole lot of close quarters engagements with high mob sizes. Now, I did kind of challenge myself with this one. I wanted to see if I could get through an entire strike, getting the most kills of my squad, or fire team, by using only the universal remote and no other firearms of any kind, save for the Golden Gun Super. So I do use my Super, but in terms of my weapons, this is the only one I used throughout this entire strike. And it was kind of fun to challenge myself in that regard, and I will say this, using this weapon in PvE, it's sort of a training exercise, teaching you how to use your horizontal and vertical cover and space to your advantage, learning how to stay mobile all the time so that you can avoid being shot, because dodging one bullet is often all it takes to stay alive. And you'll see so many times I'm in the flashing red, I have maybe a quarter or less of my health left, and I'm still in the fray and I still manage to stay alive just because I'm using my horizontal and vertical cover to my advantage. I'm staying high on the mobility scale, moving frequently and often, and just being as dynamic as possible as I play. Now, I will say what I said earlier, this gun is not very practical. In PvE, I would highly suggest, if you're actually trying to be effective and just trying to have the best weapon or best loadout possible for the situation, I can't really think of a single scenario where this is your best pick. There are just so many exotics out there that are much more effective, especially as a primary slot. It seems silly to take up a primary slot with a weapon that is so one-dimensional, which is kind of ironic given the name of the weapon, the universal remote. You would assume that it's good at everything, and the fact of the matter is it is not good at everything. It's only good at close quarters. Now, the gun fires 12 pellets, and you'll see it's averaging around, in PvE, it's averaging around 118, 119 per pellet. So if you land all your pellets, and that's close range, if you land all your pellets, it's going to do a considerable amount of damage. It also does a lot of precision damage if you manage to land a few pellets in the head or wherever. But that is being right up in the face of your enemies. Now, notice that 1 and 2 were the damages that those pellets did, and that was pretty close range. So I found with Sepix Prime, I really just had to stay mobile. I had to be jumping, and I had to get like right up in his face. And 118 pellets, or 118 damage per pellet at 12 pellets comes in just over 1,400 damage. But you'll see when I'm really up close and personal with the crit damage, bam, over 2,000 in one shot. Over 2,000 damage in one shot is actually pretty good. And that was just the crit damage alone, not the other pellets that landed around his crit area. But yeah, up close and personal, you can see there over and over 118 damage per pellet, which isn't terrible, but you really do have to be right up on him. And that's generally with these bosses. You don't want to be right up on these guys because they have their heavy attacks that are meant to keep people away from, just arm's length. So I really had to keep moving, but eventually dropped him, managed to complete this strike using only the universal remote, and actually came out on top of the other guy with 115 kills. So in that sense, it was a fun weapon to use. It was fun just to challenge myself in that regard. So I hope this was helpful, guys. Share with me your thoughts and comments on the weapon. Feel free to like and subscribe. Thanks.